Hello students, welcome to part 2 of how to create a contour line portrait in Kleki. Part 1 went over how to do the shoulders, head and hair with a little bit of suggestion of clothing. Today this video is going to focus on the specifics of eyes, nose, mouth, and eyebrows and any sort of texture lines that you may need to add to show that they're smiling or winking or thinking or laughing, whatever you need to do. So with that, let's get into Kleki and go back and visit Kamala Harris. As we look at this too, you want to pay attention to specific muscles that are moving. So if your person is smiling, typically you want to definitely pay attention to the cheeks and that this little shadow here and these little lines to help show that they're smiling. If they're kind of scrunching or thinking, there might be, the marks or little muscles around here in the eyebrows to pay attention to. So I'm going to focus on eyes first and then kind of move from there. So again, turn this down. The trick with eyes, I'm going to zoom in real close so I can really just focus on one eye. You want to actually start with the inside. I was using the sketchy brush for this. I'm going to now turn it down to the solid brush. That's kind of gives me a solid thing. And just like before, I did a line and I realized that it was gray, so that means I'm on the wrong layer. Go back to the outline. That is what my line should look like. So with eyes, you want to actually start from the inside and work out. So I'm going to kind of do an outline of this, then an outline kind of this section, then do a top line. And typically, and you can already see it, the top line is a little darker, a little thicker than the bottom line. So I can, if I want to, turn this bottom line down a little bit to make it look a little different. And I'll put even like, let me turn that back up to 2. Put a second line for, where I think she's wearing some sort of eyeliner. And I might even want to think about putting in some little marks for lashes. Put little lashes here. And again, I'm not filling, I haven't put in any eyeshadow. I'm not filling in this area above the eye. I'm just outlining everything as I see it. So then if I turn the picture off and kind of zoom out, that's a pretty good eye. The top half is a little thicker than the bottom. There's a few little lashes. I've got a pupil, an iris, and I don't know that I forget the name of it. But anyway, I'll turn the photo back up to 50 and repeat that same process for the other eye, and then we'll get into the nose. So the trickiest part about the nose is that this part here in the middle, there's no real edge. So obviously at the bottom, you kind of do want to just follow the bottom edge of the nose, but you do also maybe put a second line here for the nostril where it's a little double wide. But there is this kind of weird, this little area here where there is a separate part, but there's no real border. So what I like to do, there's a couple ways around this. You can kind of just put a little line here. Maybe it's not even complete. It just kind of goes up and it only goes up one side. But you don't want, what you want to avoid, let me turn the photo off. So it looks pretty good. Let me turn this down and erase that line. Try it again. I'll put kind of like, I'll do one side. So I'm just kind of doing one side and then maybe that. So I'm trying to follow the edge of the nose without really doing both sides. Because if you do both sides, what ends up happening, it looks a little weird. So when you like zoom out and you look at it without the picture, it's too symmetrical. So I do like to just put, maybe one line here to just get the sense that there's some separation there. That will all work itself out when you're coloring. Last but not least, the mouth is pretty self-explanatory. I do want to do, an outline. The one thing I would do is I might change the size. I'll do a thinner line for the outside line and then do a thicker line for where it's like the lip and the teeth separate. So I'll speed up the video and do the mouth, and then we'll just meet up with for the wrinkles and details. All right, so we're back. I've got a little outline for the mouth. The one thing I'm going to avoid is the teeth. From what my experience has been, when you do the outlining of the teeth, it ends up looking really weird because the lines are actually not black, so it's more like light gray or something like that. It doesn't really work well. So only thing I'm going to do now to finish her up is really to think about, first let's take a step back and look at the whole thing, because I do think we are starting to get the likeness of her, but I do think, we're missing some key textures. So things like the eyebrows, things like these little smile marks. Maybe there's like a little bit of lines down here in the neck, and now I could go in and focus on maybe her earring and her pearls. So I'm gonna jump in, dive in, speed up the video, and do those last minute touch-ups. And then I'll meet you back here at the very end for an overall look. All right, so I think we're done. So here's what my finished artwork looks like. Zoom in to just kind of give you a sense of some of the textures I added. I did add a little texture to the eyebrows, some texture to the hair, and then a little bit of the necklace and earrings. I do, this is the original product. For turning in this assignment, just remember to turn your photo layer off and then go to File and then change this from PNG to PSD so that way it saves all of your layers. If you ever finish and you're like, I need to get my work back, but it's not here, try to remember to save it to your browser. But if it's not there and you need to reopen it at a later time, what you can do is you can go to Import up here, or you can click Import here, and then just open the file that you have downloaded. And then when you're importing, open it as image. Do not click Flatten Image. Open it as image, and that will preserve all of your layers. So that is it from me. Next week, we will get into how to color and add the inspirational quote. I hope everybody is safe and well, and have a great day.